What is your name?
Connor Curran.
And your age?
27.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I'm an industrial electrician.
And what is the Freedom Convoy about?
Really shortly put, the Freedom Convoy is about getting back the freedoms that our government has taken away via mandates and having them end now so we can all move forward together again.
And how long have you specifically been out there?
About just shy of a week now.
Okay. And where are you located?
For the 402 westbound, just outside of Warwick, Ontario, on the way to Sarnia.
And how are you keeping warm?
We have camper trailers with heat. We have ice fishing huts with fireplaces and heat. We have several fire pits for heat, and as well as an enclosed trailer with electric heaters inside and chairs and couches to warm up.
And are you eating enough? How are you getting food?
We are eating so much more than enough. The food has been pouring in endlessly from the surrounding community. The church group brought chili. Another group of older ladies brought some very nice little triangle sandwiches, burgers, sausages, you name it. More coffee than anyone could ever drink. It's all just showing up without ever being asked for.
That's really kind of your community to do that. Tell me about the gas can situation.
The gas can situation is going to be the greatest Canadian meme to ever come out of this country. It's the Ottawa police started confiscating jerry cans in an effort to push or kind of show of force to get these truckers moving. But unfortunately, 2 days later, they had to return all the jerry cans as it was illegal. So now everyone in Ottawa went out and bought as many jerry cans as they could find, and now you see hundreds of people just wandering around with empty jerry cans just to be a pain in the ass.
And do you think that what you guys are doing is pushing the government into a corner to make a decision to end the mandates?
It's definitely pushing them into the corner. Because 5 minutes ago, I just read another article. Toyota, GM, and Ford have all shut down their plants now because of lack of parts due to the current blockade. So I think that the tension or the pressure on the government is cranking up. They're definitely in a corner, and they need to make a decision.
Right. And what do you think of GoFundMe seizing the $10 million for your cause?
I think it goes to show that we can't always trust any institution to be free of government control, especially when they can seize millions of US dollars in the snap of a finger.
And what do you think of Canada trying to freeze the Give, Send, and Go fundraiser for you guys?
It just seems like they're just going to keep... They have this idea in their head that clamping down on the money will clamp down on everyone and make everyone go home. All it's done is make people more upset. So they can freeze every dollar they want. That won't fix their problem.
Right, exactly. I agree. And it's been 2 weeks since, all this started and everything, and everybody's like honking their horns. And I heard that there was fireworks going off. Like, who's doing the fireworks?
One of the local families at our spot brought out some fireworks they didn't set off on Canada Day, and they had the kids on hay bales watching. They set off. They maybe had, I think it was maybe a dozen Roman candles and stuff, so we had a little fireworks show around 9 o'clock. The kids were pretty pumped about it, and we were getting lots of horns off the highway. I guess they like fireworks too.
And has any arrests and tickets and fuel seized from your vehicles in your area where you're at, or is it other areas as well?
Nothing like that has happened in our area. It seems to be relegated to Ottawa.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the police saying that you guys are doing illegal behavior and threatening behavior?
I think it's almost laughable at this point. It's getting to be common knowledge that these are normal people at these protests. These are families, multicultural. We have representation that there's hateful racism or targeted attacks going on is laughable to me at this point.
And how has the mandates affected you personally?
Personally, they've affected me by, coercing me into something that I was nervous about and wasn't exactly sure about, and now I'm facing long-term heart problems that are still working on being diagnosed, and I don't feel like I was ever warned about that.
And a lot of people are trying to say that the vaccines are completely safe and that a majority of the people that are in the hospital because they're not vaccinated. Do you think that's true?
No, they've changed the metrics and how they count, how they judge someone as being in the hospital with COVID-19, how they judge them based on whether they were there and they contracted it or they came in and contracted it. And even the numbers of unvaccinated versus vaccinated at this point, they're to the point I don't think they can spend them anymore, that it's the unvaccinated in hospitals.
And how do you think the government is reacting to the truckers?
Poorly, by just continuing decisive rhetoric, by demonizing Canadians, by belittling people that have struggled for so long. They feel they have no other way to be heard than by being disruptive.
And I heard that they're trying to tow the trucks, but the tow companies are refusing. Do you think the tow company cares about your cause, and that might be one of the reasons why? I mean, you guys are all boxed in.
Absolutely, I believe they believe in the cause. Several towing agencies across Ontario now have made public statements that they will not be towing peaceful protesters, and they will not be, even if they're under contract to the government, they'll accept the consequences for not following the contract.
Well, that's unfortunate, but I'm glad they care about you guys. And what do you think about the mainstream media labeling the convoy as a cult?
I think it has a lot to do with where a lot of the mainstream media gets its funding. And a lot of the mainstream media in Canada and Ontario gets its funding from the federal government. So it makes complete sense to me that they would be towing the same line the government is.
Also, Paula Newton from CNN said that you guys are a threat to democracy and a nationwide insurrection. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess my thoughts on that are that maybe CNN's more of a threat to democracy at this point by pushing single-sided ideals and single-sided versions of what's actually happening out there instead of reporting on the news. I think peaceful protest is a huge part of democracy, but that first part, peaceful, is important. I don't think that violent protest or violent riots have anything to do with moving forward democratic ideals. I think causing a disruption and slowing down the economy and causing headaches is a peaceful way of getting a message heard.
Right, and though you think it's kind of crazy how GoFundMe is perfectly okay with rioters trying to raise money on their platform, because like they burn down cities and they kill innocent people and they attack them. And it's crazy how they're allowing their fundraisers on their platform, but peaceful protesters like you are, all your money's being seized from you and GoFundMe doesn't care. I just think that's kind of wild in a way. What do you think?
I think it shows that there is discrimination out there, but it might not be against who we thought it was.
Right. And do you think that your government can turn into a tyrannical government? I mean, trying to take away people's rights.
Absolutely, I do. If we look into history as a guide, we know that this happens. We know that governments are always trying to seize more power, always trying to seize more control. And even if you just look at word for word what our Prime Minister is saying, it is a very authoritarian, tyrannical way of approaching this issue and the pandemic as a whole.
And do you think that the police and the government will yield or break to this shutting down everything on all the streets with the trucks?
I hope they do. I really, really hope they do. But at this moment, I'm still unsure. Both sides are playing chicken with each other, and neither side wants to swerve. So we're going to have to see who blinks first, basically.
Exactly. This is very unfortunate. I truly believe that you guys will succeed in this. Nonviolent civil disobedience is what we all need to be doing. I know there are people that are for the mandates because they're like, oh, we have to compromise and keep everybody safe. And I'm just like, you don't understand. You're like sheep. You don't understand. It's quite crazy, actually, all the stuff I've been hearing from people who live locally to me. What do you think we can all learn from this?
Just that you need to learn to question everything. Don't disbelieve it. Don't immediately either be for it or against it. Take the time to make an opinion for yourself. And I feel that a lot of these people that have very strong held opinions about mandates and about the origins of the convoy and who's behind it and the ties, and it's stop digging into what you're being pointed at and ask why you're being pointed at it.
And if what advice could you give people to during this time of mandates and lockdowns?
The only advice I can give is go out, see your neighbor, go out in the community, go out and join these protests, go out and have some food, have some drinks, have some coffee, and talk to people that live around you and are part of your community. Get back together and learn to love each other again.
And what is one of the craziest things that you've heard since all this started?
It's probably the craziest for me has been just like I've always had distrust in government, but I never wanted to be right about it. I wanted it to be made clear that the government was for us, and I can't hang on to that illusion anymore. So I don't know. It's the entire thing is so crazy. It's changed the way I look at the world around me and the way I look at the people around me.
I heard that there are people who have ended their lives because of how much the lockdowns and mandates have affected them. Have you heard a lot about that where you're from?
Yeah, it's been a pretty common sentiment when you talk to people, and even among our family, it's a talking point. It's always wondering why these steps we're taking aren't having an effect, but we're still being punished, essentially, by being taken away. We're having our right to just move around taken away. I just want to be able to go into a grocery store without me being let in because I had a medical procedure, and then seeing someone else that decided not to have a medical procedure being turned away at the door. That is the farthest thing from what we should stand for.
And I truly believe that, I know some people say that it's only going to get worse, and it might for a little bit, but I really truly believe that it will improve. We just need to band together and keep strong and keep doing nonviolent civil disobedience against this tyrannical government that's trying to take over. I truly believe that. I think if we just persevere and keep doing this, we can win. And I don't care what those far left-wing crazy people say. we can't have this. They are willing to take away their rights to keep safe, you know?
And then now, even with that, we've seen the pivot now towards climate. And, well, what happens now when they decide that my truck that I drive is no longer legal and I can't drive it because it's damaging to the environment, or that I can't heat my house with propane anymore because it's damaging to the environment, and then expecting me to pick up the tab to somehow manage to become legal again.
I really wish and hope for the very best for you guys. I hope you succeed in what you're doing. I truly believe in you guys, and I wish you all the luck. And thank you for sharing your story with me. How can people reach you on Twitter? What's your username?
My username is Worst Case Ontario with a 1 at the end.
Okay, then.
You can basically follow me if you want to see what unhinged screaming looks like most of the time, but I do make a good point occasionally, and I like to repost lots of things that question the narrative.
And I will be posting in the link after this the cryptocurrency and the Gifts and Go for the fundraiser for you guys, because I truly believe in what you guys are doing.
That's really appreciated. And even Give Send Go is taking, like, the company itself is taking a hard line, saying that the government has no right to mandate it. So even if the government does seize that money, we know that that is a company that's willing to put themselves on the line, just like we're putting ourselves on the line for what we believe in.
Yep, and so with that, we are going to end this. Thank you so much, Connor, for joining me. I hope to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. It's a wild world we live in. We got to keep talking about it. Where's the fun in being quiet?
Exactly. Well, thank you and goodbye.
Have a good day. See you later.